Rob, you put the pressure on. You very publicly said that this weekend's game is a must-win game, and you said you're looking forward to seeing how the players reacted to that pressure. What has the response been like so far?
Yeah, good. We've had a good training week. It's a little bit like anything, you know. We're a club that we've kind of got to look for where we want to go and the next steps, and part of that is growing up as players and as a team, and sometimes you have to say that, you know, as good in some ways as the performances have been, especially in parts for a lot of our recent games, and you know we do have to look at the opposition we've been playing. At the same time, you know, we're a competitive rugby club and we want to win games of rugby, so I don't think there's anything wrong with saying to these lads, you know, how about looking at pressure in a slightly different way and saying, come on, we're going to label this game a little bit differently. We haven't done it before, and I am a believer that, you know, no season ever rests on one result. You know, you should never be judged, you know, by one result. It should never be the defining moment of your season. But at some stage, you know, you have to win games of rugby, and why not this weekend? You know, why not say to the guys, you know, let's look at this weekend a little bit differently. Let's not just talk about going out there and performing well. Let's make sure we're talking about performing in a way that guarantees a win, and that's going to be interesting to see how they deal with that.
You also identified decision making under pressure as you know, one of the reasons that the results aren't going your way. In a way, you know, if the players weren't fit enough, you can work on that. You know, if the skills were lacking, decision making. How do you actually improve that in training during the week? Well,
I'll be honest with you. In a lot of ways, in some ways, it's the most comfortable thing for us to work on, because I think if I was looking at a team that wasn't putting in the physical effort, so kind of wasn't fit enough, wasn't strong enough, didn't want to work hard enough, didn't want to go out there and hurt themselves enough, then I would worry, because there'd be an attitude problem. There's no attitude problem with us. Yeah, decision making is probably, it's like the cream on the cake, really. That's what decision making is. You know, we've got a lot of hard-working players here who've done a lot of very good things for us and put us in a lot of very strong positions in some tough games recently. You know, and they've got to have credit for that. You know, it's not about just looking for all the problems. They should have great credit for being so close to beating Bath and being so close to beating Northampton and being so close to beating Toulon. You know, there's credit due there, but at the same time, you know, there's that little layer on top that wants to turn those close losses into victories, and part of that is maturing and experience, and what we have to do as coaches, and what we have to be prepared to do as a set of players, is accelerate that learning and decision-making process as quickly as possible. And that's a little bit what we've challenged the players with over the last couple of weeks. Is, you know, let's not be happy and say, oh, in 2 years' time we'll be better, in 3 years' time we'll be better. We will be, but let's accelerate it as quick as we can, and really demand very high standards of each other in that key kind of communication and decision-making and awareness of the actual whole situation of the game, and not just what we're feeling. I think we actually react to what we're feeling a lot in a game, and often our feeling is incorrect. And I think that's something we've talked about a lot. You know, you can feel, we sometimes look like a team that feels under pressure when we're 6 points up or 7 points up, or we've just scored and taken the lead, when the reality is it's the other way around. You know, and I think that's some of the stuff we've talked about, and I think, you know, you only address that and speed that up by being very open about it. And I'll be honest with you, I've been really pleased with the way the players have dealt with the last couple of weeks, because it's not easy to come back from putting a lot of physical effort into games and not getting the result. But you know, everybody I've spoken to amongst the team is disappointed and frustrated they haven't won, and they want to work extremely hard to turn them into wins, and that's a great position for us to be in.
If we look to London Irish at the weekend, they've been in decent form recently. What are their main threats? What do you see to worry about?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. They're on form and they're confident, and I think, you know, they've had a couple of results go their way through kind of hard work. You know, they have made the Baxter ball go their way, and they've deserved it. You know, you look at the Saracens game; they scored a couple of tries very quickly in literally a couple of minutes of play, and you could say that Baxter ball went their way and little hack throughs happened. But the reality is, you know, we've been in the Premiership long enough to know that sometimes those kind of scores come because you put a great deal of physical effort into a game, and you almost force things to go your way. And I think that's what they've done in recent weeks. I think they've forced things to go their way. So we've had a good look at them. They've got threats all over the field. As I say, they're playing a good brand of rugby. You know, and it isn't all about grunt, and it's not all about big ball carriers. There's a good amount of skill in there, playing with width, playing with continuity. You know, they are looking a good rugby side, and I think that's great credit to them and their coaching staff, that after a little bit of a sticky start, you know, they're looking very comfortable in the Premiership. And you know, that's tough on us. You know, it'd be nice to be playing against maybe a team a bit out of form and who weren't going to come away and look for a win, but that's certainly what's going to happen with London Irish. They're going to come here all guns blazing. They're probably going to feel they're the form team. But as I said, you know, I'm relatively comfortable with how we're playing. We play against a very good side. What we have to do is go out there and look to perform better than we've been doing, because that's what will improve us as a Premiership side. Not just going out there and saying, oh, an okay performance might be enough. You know, I want these lads to feel under pressure that this should be their best performance of the season.